Hey, you want to see some gold? Come check this out. Bammo. Gold is sitting at $2,473 this morning. Wow. All you stackers, pat yourselves on the back. What we're going to do today is we're going to look at some different types of gold, and we're going to talk about how each of these may appeal to the different types of stackers. So what we have in front of us right here is a processed half gram, a half gram nugget, and a half gram of natural fine gold. And looking at these, we can kind of figure out which one of these appeals to which kind of stacker the most. Now, for the purposes of this, we're not going to be talking about miners or prospectors. We're not talking about gold dealers. We're not talking about jewelry store owners, pawn shops, coin shops, etc. This is a video for me and you, the average stacker. So what are the different categories of stacker? Well, I think loosely you could look at stackers as investors or collectors or preppers. And each one of these types of gold appeals to those different categories, but they also bleed over. So they're not exactly exclusive. All right, let's talk about that. So for the stacking investor, the investor is always going to want something that has been processed, pure, fine gold. He's going to want it stamped, certified. This is something that needs to be verified. The investor is never going to go after nuggets or smaller gold. Now, let's talk about the collector. The collector is probably the most flexible of all of these because the collector will take any of this. Collectors just love gold in all its forms. They do not care that this nugget is not going to test out at 24 karat, maybe not even 22, maybe not even 18. But to a collector, it is the piece. It's not the price of it. It's not anything else but the fact that they want to collect it. So all of these are valid options for a collector, although I will say a collector is not very likely to just collect tiny gold like this. So then what's the benefit of tiny gold like this? Let's look at our prepper friends. Come zombie apocalypse time, and I need to go over to my neighbor's and just trade for a few fishing hooks. Well, guess what? As long as he trusts my gold, I can go over there and I can just trade the tiniest little bit of gold for the fishing hooks that I need. You could, but you likely would not do something like that with this or with this. So for a prepper, small gold that you could weigh out to very specific amounts easily is a huge benefit. Let's take a look at something a little bit bigger. This is 1 gram of gold, a 1 gram refined bar, a 1 gram nugget,
and 1 gram of fine natural gold.
Let's go a little bigger. Add 4 grams of gold into here. This is 5 grams of gold. Notice how much bigger we are getting in reference to the size of the dime now. Let's put that right side up, shall we? This is 5 grams. A refined bar, 5 grams of nuggets,
and 5 grams of fine natural gold.
Let's go a little bigger. Throw another 5 grams. And now here's 10 grams of gold. A refined 10 gram bar, 10 grams in nuggets, and 10 grams of natural fine gold. This is getting pretty. Let's look at another size up. This is 3/4 of an ounce. Now we're really talking about exclusive to collectors, things like this. Most likely not an investor because the premiums on constitutional gold are stupid. So 3/4 an ounce, processed, refined, pure gold, 3/4 of an ounce of nuggets, and 3/4 of an ounce of fine natural gold. All right, let's jump up to our last size. All right, guys, here's our biggest size we're going to look at today. Here is 1 ounce refined gold bar, And here is 1 ounce of fine natural gold. Now, a 1 ounce gold nugget is exceptionally rare, so I wish that I could show you an actual true 100% 1 troy ounce nugget. And so that's what I'm going to do. This is a 1 troy ounce gold nugget. Let's look at these again real close. Refined gold, that is going to be investors. They're most likely going to be after any size gold until you start getting below grams. I would even argue that maybe most investors don't even look at grams. They're never going to be investing in natural gold. All of it's going to need to be processed, certified. Also, buying in at the lowest possible price is very important if you're looking at this as your investment. And lastly, you need to not have any attachments to your gold if it's an investment, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to switch it back out for fiat or leave it to somebody. Those are your 2 options. Now let's jump over here and look at our preppers. Preppers are going to take any type of gold that they can get. Fractional would most likely be preferred. That just frees you up to make any size transaction. The drawbacks, you're going to have to find someone who trusts your gold, and this stuff is not pure gold. And like an investor, a prepper cannot have any attachment to the gold. And lastly, let's jump over and look at our collectors. Only a collector would pony up and pay for a 1 troy ounce gold nugget. It will never, ever sell for anything close to the spot price of gold. I will say collectors are not limited to size. You should look at this little tiny thing that I have. We call it the seahorse. Very beautiful specimen. The collector is going to pretty much dally into any kind of gold that appeals to them. Most of their purchases are going to be made regardless of price. And I'm not saying stupid, like an idiot goes out and pays 10, 20 times as much as something's worth. I'm saying collectors know that they're going to pay more for the specimen that they're after. Lastly, collectors are highly attached to their collections. At the end of the day, gold is an incredibly wise investment. Go find someone you know in your life that has collected gold and talk to them about the purchases they made back in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. Even as little as just a few years ago, you could buy gold significantly less than today's $2,470. Thanks for taking a look into these different types of gold and listening to my analysis of what the different types of stackers are. Whether you do this for your retirement investment or just to make yourself smile, it is a wonderful thing to get into. Anybody want to take a guess at what kind of stacker I am? Yeah, like a lot of you, I'm all 3. Put the kind of stacker you are in the comments section below. Thanks for watching.